पारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः. Pranams everyone. Last class I was not very comfortable with what I had delivered, so I'll just do a quick structured summary of what we saw in the last class, followed by we will do a full summary of chapter 4. So we'll go to Sloka, chapter 4, Sloka number 38. Nahi jnānena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate tatsvayam yoga samsiddha kālenātmani vindati. So here Bhagavan says Jnanam is the ultimate highest purifier. So if you go to the Sloka, Sadrisham Jnānena. Sadrisham Jnānena means like knowledge. Sadrisham Jnānena, or equal to knowledge. We can say equal to knowledge. Pavitram, purifier. Iha, in this world. Vidyate nahi. Vidyate nahi means there is no other indeed. So there is no other purifier in this world equal to knowledge. That is what Bhagavan says here. You remember Karma Yoga is a purifier. Karma Yoga, whatever we do, Panchamahayagnyas, Ishvararpana, Prasada Buddhi that we do, the sacrifices that we do, the Dhanam, Yajnam, Tapas and all those things that we do, all purifies our mind. But Bhagavan says, they do purify, but they don't do as much as Jnana do. Because why? Why? Because what Jnana removes is ignorance. And ignorance is the biggest malam, biggest impurity in our mind. First of all, for us to even realize that ignorance is the cause for all my sorrows, that itself is difficult, because every time we go back and say, that person is the cause for my sorrow, this situation is the cause for my sorrow, that particular job is the cause for my sorrow, we always blame it on somebody outside or something outside. For us to realize, for us to understand, for us to get convinced that ignorance is the cause for my sorrow, that itself is a big step. Now once we get there, and that we can get only after many years of listening to Vedanta, reflecting on the teachings, saying, we'll slowly realize that it is not that the other person's words are the cause for my sorrow. It is only my ignorance. And once we realize that ignorance is the cause for my sorrow, once we are convinced that ignorance is the cause for my sorrow, our appreciation of Jnana goes up higher. Then we really appreciate Jnana. We would want to get this knowledge. And once we get this knowledge, all impurities are gone. There is no other purifier in this world which is equal to Jnana. And why many people are in Vedanta but still not very serious enough in pursuing it? That is also because we are ignorant that ignorance is the cause for our sorrow. That has not gotten deep enough. That ignorance is the cause of my sorrow, and therefore if I really want to remove this sorrow, then I have to get this Jnana. It is not other people's behavior, other people's words, or other people's attitude that is the cause for my sorrow. So that is what Bhagavan says. There is no other purifier no higher purifier than knowledge. So the question is, okay, I know now I'm serious. So can I get it tomorrow, this knowledge? Bhagavan says in the second line, Tat swayam yoga samsiddha kālenātmani vindati. Tat means that knowledge that purifies us. Yoga samsiddha. It is prepared through yoga. So what happens? We cannot get Jnana Yoga directly. Before we can get to Jnana, we have to get purified by Karma Yoga. We'll have to get one-pointedness of mind through upasana yoga or bhakti yoga. Or in simple life, if you want to put, we need to have a religious life before we can get into spiritual life. So only a prepared mind can get this knowledge. So that knowledge that purifies us is prepared through yoga, prepared through karma and upasana yoga. Yoga samsiddha. Samsiddha means one who is well prepared, one who is ready. So a qualified person, a kind of a refined person, a cultured person who has been able to prepare himself for this knowledge. So he is ready to receive this knowledge. For him, what happens? Swayam kalena, in his easily in time, as in through a passage of time. Ātmani vindati, one attains in the mind. Ātmani means here, Ātmani means the mind. So what happens is, Bhagavan says, prepared through this yoga, which is karma yoga, upasana yoga, and all the sadhanas that we had discussed, the 12 sadhanas that we had discussed, and other sadhanas, one attains this knowledge in the mind easily in time. In time means how long? For some it may be immediate. It depends on how much of some siddhi we have attained, how much of preparation we have got it. And what is the ultimate benefit of karma yoga and upasana yoga? It is sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. I hope we don't need to repeat it. Sadhana chatushtaya means what? Viveka, vairagya, shatka sampatti and mumukshutvam. So if a person is having that preparedness, then this knowledge comes easily in time. So this is what this Sloka says. So there is no other purifier, no higher purifier than knowledge. Then in Sloka 39, Shraddhavan labate jnanam tatparas samyatendriyah jnanam labdva param shantim achirenadi gacchati. So here Bhagavan says there are 3 antaranga sadhanas or 3 qualifiers, internal qualifiers that a person must have to get this knowledge. And these 3 internal qualifiers is, first is Shraddha, second is Tatparata or Tatparaha, and then Samyatendriya. Shraddha, we saw what is Shraddha. Shraddha is the firm conviction or belief, you can say, that whatever that the Shastras say and whatever that the Guru says is true. Whether I am able to understand or not, I have to understand it. That is different thing. But it is true. So I have to ensure that that truth becomes my knowledge. And for that I may want to ask questions to get my doubts clarified. But I should not start with the premise that what he says is false or can be doubted. That becomes, if I say I don't believe it, it is ashraddha. Or if I say, look, it's humbug, it's actually even if you show me the truth, I will not believe it, then it becomes Saṁśaya-Atma. Okay. So there is a difference between ashraddha and Saṁśaya-Atma, which we will see in the next sloka. But I just wanted to highlight this. So shraddha is the firm conviction or belief that whatever the Shastras say are true, cannot be false. Shastras will not lie. Guru will not lie. And therefore I will take it as the truth. Whether I understand or not, that is another question. But I will have to put my effort to make it my knowledge, which means I will have to understand it. So Bhagavan says Shraddha is the first and foremost thing that is needed if you want the knowledge. Because why this Shraddha is needed? Because what Shastras say, you are Purnaha, you are all pervading, you are eternal. Now according to my experience, I am alpaha. I am limited by this body and mind. I have a birth rate and a death rate. So how am I to understand that I am all pervading, I am eternal and all these things? It's completely against my experience. So for me to now say, okay, Shastra says this, it is possible. Now I have to understand how I am eternal, how I am all pervading. So that is Shraddha. And for you, you need to have that Shraddha, because if you don't start with that, you will never reach there. If you have decided that I am not all pervading, I am not eternal, then you will never reach that understanding. So Shraddha is important. Now, even if a person has Shraddha, now if he doesn't have Tatparaha means a complete, total commitment. So I believe Shastras. That Shastra says it is actually all pervading, I am all pervading and all those things. I believe it. But I am not going to put any effort to understand it or make it my knowledge, which means I am not going to do any sadhanas that will take me there. Then also you will not receive your knowledge. You will not gain your knowledge. So Shraddha is important, but after that comes total commitment. The commitment to make my lifestyle realign in such a way that I am working towards gaining this knowledge. So that is Tatparaha, that commitment to Vedanta, the Tivra Mumukshutva. Now, I have got Shraddha. I have changed my lifestyle also. I've got a total commitment. But the third one, Samyatyendriya, if I am not able to control my mind and senses, then also there is no use. Then also I will not be able to get my knowledge. So I believe Shastra says, I am also willing to commit, but then I cannot control my senses. My senses keep going out. I am not able to discipline my senses or mind. Then too we will not get knowledge. So that is what Shakracharya says. Here he says Shraddha, Tatparaha and Samyatyendriya. Shraddha is very important, but even if you have Shraddha, if you don't work towards it, you will not get it. And even if you work towards it, if your Indriyas and mind are not going to cooperate, you are not going to have it. But then if for a person, if he is Shraddha, he is able to put total commitment and he is able to get the mind and body and senses in control, then what happens to him? Bhagavan says in the second line, Jnanam labdva param shantim achirenadi gacchati. Having attained this knowledge, once he gets this knowledge, param shantim, he gets supreme peace, total contentment. There is shanti, there is the bliss, he is in bliss. When? Achirenadi gacchati. Instantly. He gets that, the moment he understands that Aham Brahmasmi, he is able to feel that complete bliss in his mind. Immediate. As soon as the knowledge dawns, he gets this. Jnanam labdva achirenadi gacchati. But what does he get? Param shantim. Without any gap. So this is what Sloka number 39 says. Now we'll go to Sloka number 40. Ajñāscha ashradādhanascha Saṁśaya-Ātma vinashyati nāyam lokosti na paraha na sukham samśayātmanah. Here Bhagavan says Ajñāscha ashradādhanascha and then Saṁśaya-Ātma. So there are three doshas that a person must not possess. One is Ajñaha. Ajñascha means an ignorance. For an ignorant person, Ajñascha, or for a Ashradhādhana. Ashradhādhana means a person who does not have Shraddha, or the third one, a Saṁśaya-Ātma, a person who is having a constant doubting mind. For those three people, they perish. They will not have anything. They will not have this knowledge. They will perish means what? They will waste this life. If we have taken a human birth, and human birth is the only possibility for moksha, and within this human birth, if I am going to remain ignorant throughout my life, I lose an opportunity to gain knowledge, then I am wasting my life. I understand there is something called shastras, and shastras teach me that I am actually all pervading and eternal, and I don't want to believe it. I don't have shraddha on the shastras. That also is a waste of this life. Or shastras say these things, I listen to these things, but I don't think I believe it. It is all humbug. I will not take it. I believe parts of shastras, but these things will not work out for this life. I try to, because it doesn't work for me, or because I am lazy, or because it doesn't align with my likes and dislikes, I find some holes in shastras for the sake of finding holes. Not that it is actually you are wiser than the rishis, but if I am finding those faults and remain as a Saṁśaya-Atma, then also this life is wasted. And here Bhagavan clearly says, among these three, the Saṁśaya-Atma, the person who has got this doubting mind, is the one who is going to not have good life even in this world or in the next. He is not going to find happiness either in this world or in the next world. So, and Shankaracharya says, papishtahi samshaya. He says, a person who doubts, whether it is in normal or in normal activities, or in laukika, or in spiritual world, if a person has got this doubting mind, that is a sin. Doubting is a sin. That will not take us anywhere closer to any goal that we have, whether we have material goals or spiritual goals. If you start doubting on people around you, or in yourself, or in the work that you do, or in the actions that you need to do, you will lose out. So that is the worst dosha among all. That is what Bhagavan says. It is like a cancer. A doubting mind will ruin us, will take us down, will not help us move up. That is Sloka number 40. Then 41. Yoga Sannyasta Karmanam Jnana Samshayam Ātma Vantam na Karmani Nibadnanti Dhananjaya. So here Bhagavan says, he basically says, he gives three adjectives for a Jnana-nishtha. How is a Jnana-nishtha? A Jnana-nishtha is a person who is got Yoga Sannyasta Karmanam. Here yoga means Paramatma Darshanam, as in Jnanam, Ātma Jnanam. So Jnāna Yoga Sannyasta Karmanam, as in he is a person who has, Sannyasta means renounced. What has he renounced? Karmanam. He has renounced all actions. Through what? Through Jnana Yoga. As in, we are talking about Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga in this chapter. So, a person who has renounced all actions through knowledge. Not that he is not doing actions. He is still doing actions, but he is renounced. He knows that I am not the karta. It is the body and the mind. I am renouncing. I don't do any actions. So, one who has renounced through this jnana, the doership. Then jnāna-samshayam. Jnana means, here again jnana means what? Jiva Ishvara jnana, the Ātma jnana. Samshayam. All the doubts have been clarified on this jnana. The jnana that he has is a doubtless knowledge. For him, then Ātma Vantam na Karmani. Ātma Vantam. Atmavantam means he remains steadfast on Atma. He remains steadfast on Brahman. He is not enamored. He is not disturbed by the names and forms. After all, what is this world? This world is Maya. What is Maya? Maya is just a name and form on Brahman, superimposed on Brahman. So he is not enamored, he is not disturbed, he is not getting afraid, he is not getting any jealousy, he is not getting any pride on the names and forms. He is focused on Brahman. So these are the three. So yoga sannyasta karmanam is basically the shravanam stage, because you have got this knowledge and you have been able to renounce the doership. And then jnāna samshayam refers to the mananam stage, because all your doubts are being clarified. And then atmavantam is you are established in jnana, which is nididhyasana stage. So here he is actually able to convert that knowledge into his personality. These are the characteristics of a jnana nishtha. For him, what? Karmani na nibadnanti. Actions do not bind him. He will not get any punya or papa. Basically, he will not generate any more karma for him to take another birth. He will not be affected by joy and sorrow. He has attained Jivan Mukti. He will attain Videha Mukti. That is what Bhagavan says in Sloka number 41. Now we'll go to Sloka number 42. Tasmat ajñāna-sambhūtam hridstam jnānāsinatmanah chitvainam samśayam yogam ātiṣṭha bharata. So here Bhagavan says, again, this is the third time the Bhagavan talks about this doubting mind. He says, Arjuna, do not have doubt. And he is basically addressing everybody here also, or for us also. He says, therefore remove your doubt, have the Shraddha and perform Karma Yoga. Now Bhagavan does not say go to Jnana Yoga to Arjuna. Remember, again Bhagavan says perform Karma Yoga. This is key. Bhagavan does not believe that Arjuna has crossed the stage of Karma Yoga. The Guru will know whether the Shishya has crossed or not, or where does the Shishya lie. So Bhagavan knows that Arjuna has not crossed the stage. So Bhagavan warns him, don't have this doubtful mind. Not that Arjuna has a doubtful mind, but I think it is more meant for us, like the doubting mind can take you off the puruṣārthas. Tasmat ajñāna-sambhūtam. Tasmat, therefore. Therefore means what? Bhagavan had said, by having a doubting mind, one will not get this world, will not get the other world also. Here, happiness either here or there. So, therefore, remove all your doubts. Ajñāna-sambhūtam. Doubts that are born out of ignorance. Ajñāna-sambhūtam. What are these doubts? Where are these doubts? Hridstam. Hridstam means that which is in your mind. We always claim that, somebody, that person created the doubt in my mind. No. The mind creates the doubt. That person has not created it. You may have received two conflicting information and therefore the mind might have a doubt. So it is not created by any other person. Nobody else creates a doubt. The doubt is created by our own mind. So hridstam, that is which is in our mind. Where does Bhagavan talk about this doubt? Bhagavan talks about in the second line. Chitvainam samshayam. Samshayam means doubt. What is this doubt? Bhagavan talks about Ātmanah. Ātmanah means about the self. And what should we do with these doubts? Bhagavan says, jnānāsina. Jnānāsina means with the sword of knowledge. Sina is sword. Jnānāsina means the sword of knowledge. And what should we do with the sword of the knowledge? Chitvayenam. Chitvainam. Chitvayenam samshayam. Destroy. Chitva means cut or destroy. Destroy this doubt. So Bhagavan says only through knowledge one can remove doubts. What sort of doubts? The doubts that reside or that has come out of ignorance. Ignorance on what? Ignorance on Ātma. So having destroyed these doubts through the sword of knowledge, that which is in our mind, which has arisen, which is born out of ignorance, what is Bhagavan asking Arjuna to do? Uttiṣṭha, get up. Uttiṣṭha, get up. Arjuna is, remember, seated now. He is actually given up everything. He said, uttiṣṭha, get up. ātiṣṭha yogam. ātiṣṭha yoga means take up to yoga, take up to karma yoga. Here yoga means karma yoga. Karma yogam kuru. Get up and take to karma yoga. So Bhagavan says, don't have these doubts, whether karma yoga will give me a karma, chitta shuddhi, whether Ātma, whether I will get to Jnana, whether Jnana will get in this life or not, whether Jnana will give me moksha or not, what is moksha, whether moksha will be really blissful. Don't have these doubts. Just continue to do karma yoga. So this is how Bhagavan says. So in the previous sloka, remember, Bhagavan says, moksha is through Jnana Yoga. Yoga sannyasta karmanam jnana samchina samshayam Ātma antahna karmani nibandhanti dhananjaya. He says, where he talks about jnana nishtha there. Now in this sloka he is asking Arjuna to do karma yoga. Arjuna, you please do karma yoga. So this is what in the last sloka of this chapter. Now the next chapter, Arjuna is going to ask a doubt, because technically again here it should end. Bhagavad Gita should end, because Bhagavan has given all the knowledge. Arjuna should start fighting. But Arjuna asks a doubt and Bhagavad Gita continues. Okay. So with that we are closing the 4th chapter. Now I will give you a quick summary of the entire chapter. Now this 4th chapter, the first 3 slokas, Sri Bhagavan Vacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam, starting from that, the first 3 slokas, Bhagavan talked about the Yoga Mahima, in the sense the greatness of the Jnana that we received in the first 2 chapters. So which both Sankyam and Yogam, as in both Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga, both Ātma Tattva and Karma Tattva. Bhagavan praised that. He began with the greatness of it. So he said that I have given this knowledge at the beginning of the creation to Sūrya Bhagavan. That's what Bhagavan said. Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam. And he said this knowledge has come down through a paramparā. And we saw this paramparā. We saw Brahmana paramparā, Kshatriya paramparā, how this knowledge has come through. So this he praised in the first 3 slokas. And he said, the same knowledge I am giving it to you, Arjuna. Now, then Arjuna had a doubt. In the 4th sloka, Arjuna asks a question. He says, you were born now. How could you have given this knowledge to Sūrya Bhagavan in the beginning of the creation? After all, you are my sort of contemporary. So at this time, Arjuna does not understand. Arjuna is not aware that Bhagavan is an avatara. And therefore, so Bhagavan from sloka 5 to sloka 8, Bhagavan discusses the avatara tattva. And Bhagavan says, I am an avatara purusha. I am Ishvara Swarupa. And in every yuga, I take many avataras. And we saw, how do we understand the avatara tattva? So for us, we take a body out of the karma pala. So whatever is the prarabdham, based on that we take a body. Whereas an avatara does not take a body out of karma pala. That's one difference. Second, we have taken a body and we are doing actions to exhaust our karma. So whatever prarabdha is there, we want to exhaust it by going through sorrowful situations, happy situations, joyful situations, painful situations, everything. Whereas Ishvara has not taken a body to exhaust karma. So this is first important set of differences that we have to understand. Now we have to say, why does he take an avatara? Why does Bhagavan take an avatara? So Bhagavan takes an avatara when adharma increases and there is a decline in dharma. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttana madharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. So to restore and maintain dharma in the world that Bhagavan has created, he takes avatara. Now the question is, how does he maintain dharma? Okay, he takes an avatara, but how does he restore dharma? How does he maintain dharma? So Bhagavan's answer is, dharma is not maintained, is not a thing to be maintained. It's not like a gold or something that needs to be kept in a locker and therefore be maintained. Dharma is maintained by people who follow dharma. So Bhagavan says, paritranaya sadhunam. By protecting the people who follow dharma, dharma is restored, dharma is maintained. And vinashaya cha dushkritam. By killing the unrighteous people, adharma is destroyed. So that is how Bhagavan restores dharma. So in Avatara Tattva, Bhagavan discussed or talked about, we can say, how does an avatara take place, when does an avatara take place, and why is there an avatara, and how an avatara or Ishvara restore dharma. So this was until in the Avatara Tattva, starting from Sloka number 5 to 8. Then from Sloka number 9, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. Now, from there onwards, Bhagavan talked about certain sadhanas and also talked about moksha being the benefit, of these sadhanas. Now, what sadhana Bhagavan said? Bhagavan said, whoever understands my real nature, they do not take another body after the death of this body. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjana. He does not get another punarjanma. And therefore, we had already seen that a person who understands the self does not take and have another janma. And now Bhagavan says, if you understand me, you will not have any punarjanma. Which means what? Self and Ishvara are one and the same. As in, the self and Brahman are one and the same. So that is established in that sloka. Then Bhagavan said, Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mamupashtataha bahavo jnana tapasaha bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhava magata. Vitaraga bhaya krodha, one who is free from attachment, fear and anger, and one who is completely absorbed in me, manmayaha, who has me as their goal. One who is purified by jnana tapasa, who is purified by the austerity of knowledge. Puta madbhava magata, they attain my swarupa. So Bhagavan gave out the 5-point program where he talked about the 5 sadhanas that a person has to do to achieve this end goal. So if this is so easy, then the question is, why does not everybody come to it? Why does not everybody attain Bhagavan? So Bhagavan answered himself. He said, everyone lives according to their desires. So I know I do not force moksha upon a person. I do not say, here is moksha, take it. Or I also do not hold it back. Oh, you want moksha, I will not give it. Neither does he do that or this. And he said, I give whatever each one prays for. So if they pray for moksha, I give moksha. If they pray for their desire fulfillment, I fulfill their desire. He fulfills the desire. If you look at it, all the things that we get in these lives, or all the things that we had wished for in our life, we will get it. But whether we get it at the time that we want is another question. We will get it. It may come at a very wrong time, but we will get it. So whatever we desire for is very important. If we desire the right things, we will get it right. So that's why sometimes in our homes we will say, do not ask Bhagavan for anything. Let him give what he thinks you need. And he knows better. So then Bhagavan said, how should a human life be? How should you construct a human life? So Bhagavan talked about the 4 varnas. He talked about the societal classification, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And he said, I had created them based on guna karma. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashaha. And then Bhagavan gave some sadhanas and said the benefit of these sadhanas is Brahma Prapti, to attain Ishvara. So he said that Bhagavan said, Namam karmani limpanti name karma palaspraha. Actions do not bind me. I have no craving for these things. And then in sloka number 16 to 24. Now this is the important set of slokas. 16 to 24, the main topic of Jnana Karma Sannyasa, the central theme of this chapter. Actually, it is the central theme of the entire Bhagavad Gita itself. It's a very important portion, 16 to 24. Bhagavan talks about Jnana Karma Sannyasa. Bhagavan talked about 2 types of karma sannyasa, 2 types of renunciation. And then Bhagavan said, which is very important, he said, Kim karma kema karmeti kavayopyatra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshyami yajñātva moksheshe shubhat. He said, it is not even easy to understand what is action, what is inaction. Not many people really understand what is action, what is inaction. And if you know this properly, if you know what is action and what is inaction, yajñātva moksheshe ashubhat. This knowledge, if you get it, it will free us from inauspiciousness. Inauspiciousness, ashubhat. So this knowledge has a benefit. And how did he give this knowledge? Bhagavan talked about the karma. Karmano hepi bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha later on in 17. So what is prescribed action, what is unprescribed action, what is inaction, everything should be known, because gati karmana gahana, the nature of action is very subtle. And then in Sloka 18, Bhagavan gave this concept, karmanyah karmayah pashyed akarmani cha karmayah sabbuddhiman manushyeshu sayuktah kritsna karma krit. This is the most important sloka of this chapter and one of the most important slokas of the entire Bhagavad Gita. He says, one who sees action in inaction and one who sees inaction in action, he is a yogi. Sayuktah kritsna karma krita. He is a yogi who has accomplished everything. And this is a very important truth. Bhagavan gave it in contradicting teaching. The understanding that one should have here is Ātma is akarta. As in, Ātma is never a doer. the actions that are performed, the actions that seems to come from Atma are actually coming from the body. And therefore we should see the non-doer witness principle consciousness Atma as akarta. We should see the non-doer Atma. And similarly, Anatma is inert, but is always active. Anatma is never at rest. We think that the body and mind is not in action, but they are always in action. They are seemingly they may be inactive, but they are in action. We should see the root of that action. So body is forever in action, the Atma is never in action. This is the essence. And when we say Atma is never in action, Atma is never in action, the Atma is neither the Karta nor the Bhokta. It is only the body which is doing the action. And the body and the mind will never retire. They will continue until the death of the body. And until we get moksha, the mind will be in action. Whereas for the Atma, there is no retirement at all. There is no need for retirement. It is irrelevant. It was never in action for it to be retired. So the Atma is always the Akarta. The body is always in action. This is the principle that we should know. Now, having known this, what should we renounce? Who should do sannyasam of what? With this knowledge, the kartrutvam and the bhoktrutvam, the doership and the enjoyership should be renounced. This is the essence and the key message from this chapter. In Bhagavan Sloka 19, he said, basically, I have told you this. Now, I have told you Atma is not in action. I have told you Anatma is always in action. So, just apply this on a jnani. So, which means a jnani is also never in action. A jnani's actions should be seen as inaction. Whereas an ignorant person, even if he is at rest, you should understand that he is in the state of action. Why? Because jnani has identified himself as Atma, the self as Atma, whereas an ignorant person has identified himself as the body and mind. So body and mind, they will never be at rest. Then later on, Bhagavan classified the jnanis into two. He said one is a nivritti marga jnani, the other one is the pravritti marga jnani. One is a sannyasa ashrama jnani, other one is the grihastha ashrama jnani. And he talked about from sloka number 20, 21, 22, 23. 20 and 23 were pravritti marga jnani, and 21 and 22 were nivritta marga jnani, basically the sannyasa ashrama jnani, as to how they perform the actions, how some for the sannyasa ashrama jnani, tyakta sarva parigraha nirashir yata chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham. He does only actions that are really necessary for maintaining the body, otherwise he doesn't do anything. So therefore, he has renounced all possessions, he has restrained all the mind, and he does not incur any sin. Na apnoti kilbisham. So between 20 to 23, Bhagavan talked about those two jnanis. Then Sloka 24, Bhagavan talked about Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi, Brahmagnav, Brahmanautam, Brahmaiva tena gantavyam, Brahma karma samadhina. He talked about the how everything is seen as Brahman. The ladle is Brahman, the offering is Brahman, the offering onto the fire is Brahman. Brahman alone is the is the goal, and Brahman is we see Brahman in every action. Then from Sloka number 25 to 33, Bhagavan talked about various sadhanas. 12 supporting sadhanas were described. All were compared to a yajna. So in yajna, so what is the havis, what is the agni, was actually discussed. And Bhagavan talked about pranayama yajna, the food. He talked about indriya yajna, samyat indriya yajna. He talked about shamaha, he talked about damaha. And then agara niyamaha, he talked about. So he talked about 12 sadhanas there. He also talked about Ātma jñāna yajna. Among the 12, Deva yajna he talked about, Dhanam he talked about, Ātma jñāna yajna he talked about. Then he praised Ātma jñānas. The stuti of Ātma jñāna was done in Sloka number 33. He said, Evam bahuvida yajñāha vitato brahmano mukhe karmajan vidditan sarvan evam jnatva vimokshase. See, among all these kind of sacrifices that have been described, know that they are all originating from different types of action. Shreyan dravyamayad yajñāt jnāna yajñah parantapa sarvam karma kilam partha jnāne parisamapyate. Know that jnāna yajña is superior to all these kinds of all other sacrifices. All actions converge and culminate in knowledge. Jnāna yajña was glorified. The greatness of knowledge was glorified. Then in Sloka number 34, Tadviddi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnānāstattva-darshinaha. Now that Ātma jnana was praised, Bhagavan said how and where this knowledge must be attained. Tadviddi pranipatena. It must be attained from a guru. And then what sort of guru? Jnāninaha tattva-darshinaha. We saw Srotriya Brahmanishta. We said that the guru should have studied shastras from a sampradaya guru, and the guru himself should be steady in this knowledge. We saw the different types of guru. Then we also saw what is the sishya. Tadviddi pranipatena. Pranipatena means prostration by humility, then sevaya by service, and pariprashnena, proper inquiry. Clearing doubts is very important. So once you get this knowledge, what is the benefit? Bhagavan gave that in between 35 to 37. He said Jnana palam was given. Mohanashaha, papanashaha, and sarvakarma nasha. Mohanasha means all the delusions in the mind are gone. Papanasha means all papams done up to now are gone. And that sarvakarma nasha means karma is separately mentioned to include punyam also. So even punyam is a dosha. Even that has to be removed, otherwise we will have another birth. So until 37 he said. And then between 39 and 42 Bhagavan concluded by giving some values. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. We saw Shraddha tatparaha samyatyendriyaha. The antaranga sadhanas that we need to have to get this divine knowledge. So all other sadhanas, anybody can do any sadhana, but these three, Shraddha, Tatparaha, Samyatyendriyaha, everybody must have when they enter Jnana Yoga. Without this, you will not get this knowledge. And once you get this knowledge, one attains moksha. Then Bhagavan talked about certain things that one must not possess. And Bhagavan talked much about this doubtfulness. He said one who is does not have, one who is ignorant, one who does not have Shraddha, and one who is doubtful, they all attain doom. They waste their lives. But if someone is ignorant, there is a possibility that they attain knowledge over a time. The same thing. So somebody does not have a Shraddha. Over a period he attains, he gets Shraddha. He sees a guru, he sees that the guru is living according to this, he will get some Shraddha in the scriptures and the guru's teachings. But a person who keeps doubting, it's always, no, that cannot work. This will not work in this life. This one, no. It is not meant for us. I understand what he is saying. Some people say, I understand whatever Shastra say. It is correct. But it is not meant for this life, for this world, for this Kali Yuga. So that is kind of doubting. So that person will never get Saṁśaya-Atma vinashyati. He will perish. This doubting attitude is where something has to be removed. Sometimes even in our normal lives, these persons will always have a doubt. And they will wrongfully accuse that person. That person must have talked about me. This person must have said things about me. This person should have. No, not should have. He has. That's how confidently they will claim. And sometimes when I ask them person, they will say, I am actually claiming 99% I am right. So only 1% I am wrong. So it's better that I doubt. But Shastra says, even if your accusation is 1% wrong, it is a big sin. It is a big sin. So if 99% of the people escape from your doubting and you are wrong about them because you have not doubted them, it's still fine. Because you may say, I got wronged by them because of that. That's fine. Ishvara will take care. But we should remove this doubting mind. Even if it means we are cheated, it's okay. Because the right people should not get affected by our doubting mind. We should not doubt somebody without knowing it fully. And if we actually doubt a person who is sincere in their job and who is, suppose for example, that priest, he's actually a cheater. If he's actually doing a lot of punya karma, that will affect us. So it is better not to doubt. Even if it gets cheated, doesn't matter. Bhagavan will take care. This karma will find its way. So this is and doubting can create a lot of problems, relationship problems, a lot of things. So it is better to reach out the person, clarify it. So Bhagavan talks about not having a doubting mind. And doubting mind, why Bhagavan gives so much of importance is, a doubting mind will not have any trust on anything, neither in this life nor in neither in Laukika matters nor in Shastric matters. And that will cause hatred, that will cause aversion, that will cause anger, that will create a lot of problems. And it will go into a spiral. It will go into this, if you remember that 16th chapter, Asura. It will go into the Asura Sampati. It's not even Sampati. It's not wealth. So Bhagavan said that. Then finally Bhagavan said, having said this, through this knowledge, renounce all actions. And he said, Bhagavan said, destroy all your doubts through this knowledge. Ātiṣṭha, uttiṣṭha. Uttiṣṭha, ātiṣṭha yogam. Uttiṣṭha, get up and take up to karma yoga. Thus he concluded this chapter, which we saw today. So Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yogo Nama Chaturto Dhyayah. So we completed the 4th chapter. Do you have any questions? So next week I'm just thinking we shall have a kind of a sharing session where you can reflect on what you have understood so far, what your takeaways have been, and that way, one, the insights that you give will help the other people as well, and also for me to understand how the teaching has gone. Is that okay with everybody? And then we'll pick up Sloka chapter number 5 after that.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Otherwise, we'll close it, or we'll keep it for next class probably. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.